But Aliyah did say I have a special whistle. And she shot 13 today.
She did that to
you? Yeah. Yeah. She said the last game I had a special whistle, which is cool.
So let's clear this up. For months, people have been saying the Las Vegas Aces get the benefit of the whistle. But now, after dropping Game 4, Becky Hammon and Aliyah Wilson are the ones crying foul? Let's be real, Indiana didn't win because of officiating, they won because they flat out imposed their will. The Fever crushed Vegas on the glass, relentlessly attacked the paint, and earned their trips to the free throw line the hard way. And Aliyah Boston? She wasn't gifted anything, she owned that game, 24 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 assists of pure dominance. The only thing special about her whistle was that it came after she made the Aces pay possession after possession. When you look at the numbers, Vegas's complaints sound less like facts and more like excuses.
Looking at that box score, I'm wondering what's really standing out to you there.
I was just looking at the fouls. Like, Liz had 5, Jackie had 5, Chelsea had 5. And that's very interesting to me because I'm not saying we don't foul. Yeah, we foul here and there, but that's very interesting.
Funny how the Aces are suddenly furious about officiating after spending 3 games living off soft whistles. Indiana had been on the short end all series, Boston getting whistled just for sealing inside. Mitchell called for touch fouls on the perimeter while Vegas stacked free throws and rhythm. That's how Wilson kept her scoring flow. But in Game 4, the Fever flipped the script. They crashed the paint, earned real contact calls, and outworked Vegas. Instead of adjusting, the Aces unraveled, acting like the game was stolen. Truth is, Indiana finally got fairness, and Vegas couldn't handle the honesty.
For Becky, certainly felt like a differently officiated game than other parts of the series. I think we had more defensive 3 seconds today than any other part of the playoffs. I just wonder how you felt about the overall flow of the game.
Well, they shot 34 free throws and we shot 11. Next question.
Becky Hammon's frustration was written all over her. Each time Aliyah Boston muscled past Aliyah Wilson, Hammon threw up her hands. By the post-game presser, she didn't bother with explanations. The box score said it all. Indiana earned 34 free throws, Vegas only 11. Asked about it, Hammon snapped, "They shot 34, we shot 11. Next question. That wasn't strategy talk, it was surrender. The Aces, so used to favorable whistles, finally faced a night where the calls matched the effort, and they couldn't adjust.
I gotta go back and look at the tape, but it seemed like there was a lot of grabbing and holding down there. That got called one way. Anything else? I did appreciate it was a little tighter called, but tighter on both ends would have been nice.
Indiana's free throw surge wasn't about favoritism, it was execution. The Fever attacked the rim non-stop. Boston buried herself deep in the paint, while guards like Mitchell drove hard and invited contact. That's how you rack up fouls. Meanwhile, Vegas settled for isolation jumpers, mostly through Wilson. Outside of her, few Aces consistently tested the rim. Yet after the game, Wilson claimed Boston had a special whistle because she earned 13 free throws. That's rich coming from a star who thrived on that very whistle in games 1 through 3. Indiana didn't get charity, they imposed their style, and Vegas folded.
There were so many other plays where it felt like Asia was bullying other players on the Fever, and I want you to watch this play here with Lexi Hall. She's standing her ground, she's trying to down screen, and Asia just chucks her to the ground. Now there was no whistle there, and you can see ref number 16 right there. He's watching the whole thing happen. No whistle, they just kind of let it go.
Here's the twist, when you add up fouls over the first 4 games, the totals are nearly identical. So Indiana's big edge at the line in Game 4 wasn't favoritism, it was balance finally showing. The difference came from approach. The Fever pounded the paint, forced switches, and made Vegas defend possession after possession. 3 Aces starters ending up with 5 fouls wasn't a conspiracy, it was Indiana targeting mismatches and making them pay. Meanwhile, Becky Hammon compounded the problem late by burning a timeout she didn't have, handing Indiana a free technical point in a tight moment. That wasn't the refs, that was self-destruction. The Fever earned everything by attacking, and Vegas simply cracked under the pressure.
Megan had 4.
What? Oh my God, that's interesting. That's what I was looking at. But we'll do better. We gotta play better defense.
By interesting, do you mean that shit?
Yeah, I can't say that because I got a brand to protect. But
I'll say it, I have no brand.
yeah, it's interesting, but we'll be better.
All that noise from Vegas was nothing more than a smokescreen. The Aces weren't victims, they were outmuscled, outworked, and flat out exposed. Indiana didn't need favors, they dominated the glass and carved out space in the paint until Vegas had no answers. That so-called special whistle Aliyah Wilson grumbled about was nothing but the Fever playing disciplined, physical basketball. At the heart of it all was Aliyah Boston. From the jump, she refused to yield ground, anchoring the paint with power and poise against the reigning MVP. This wasn't just another playoff battle, it was a statement. Analysts billed Wilson's experience and polish as the decisive edge, but Boston flipped that script. For 40 minutes, she absorbed every bump, drew contact, and forced Vegas to defend her bruising style. The result? A seismic momentum shift in the series. Boston didn't just compete with Wilson, she tilted the balance of power and left the Aces scrambling for excuses they never found.
As soon as Aliyah Boston helps it all with the guard, Vegas has been very quick and decisive getting the ball to A'ja Wilson.
Entry pass, Boston. Guarded by Wilson. Boston takes it to her.
Efficient and effective. Look at where she catches the ball initially, working hard, regains it, then comes back.
Aliyah Wilson's 31 points might look commanding in the box score, but the eye test told another story. Every possession was a battle against Aliyah Boston's strength. Boston pushed her off preferred spots, forcing jumpers instead of easy finishes. Wilson worked for everything, and that constant grind drained not just her efficiency but Vegas's overall flow. With their star laboring for baskets, the Aces never found their usual rhythm, while Indiana fed off the physical tone Boston established in the paint.
Right. Boston able to hook it in.
But Boston does.
Hull knocks it away. Boston the steal. Sims ahead of the field will lay it in. Who is in the game? Melissa Smith is who sat down with Lloyd coming in. Backdoor, Mitchell lays it in on a beautiful delivery from Boston.
Well, here.
Aliyah Boston's box score captured how thoroughly she controlled Game 4. She posted 24 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 assists while adding 2 steals and 2 blocks. Efficiency was her calling card, 7 made field goals and 10 free throws on 13 trips to the line. But the numbers only scratched the surface. Boston dictated tempo on both ends. Offensively, she anchored every possession by sealing deep in the paint, forcing Vegas to foul or concede easy looks. Defensively, she absorbed Wilson's physicality while conserving her own energy for smart rotations. The turning point was how firmly she claimed interior space. Unlike earlier games where she was nudged outside, Boston planted herself near the rim and never budged. That relentless positioning wore down the Aces and made referees acknowledge undeniable contact. It wasn't favoritism, it was dominance executed with precision.
What are you seeing or feeling out there that let you have the night that you had?
Just trying to be aggressive. Hello? Oh, there we go. Just trying to be aggressive, post up, seal, focus, and finish, and get to the free throw line.
To Steph or Aliyah, did either of you see anything on tape the last couple of games for you specifically to try to get you more looks or better looks, especially as you did in that second half?
Yeah, I mean, we've watched a lot of film, but I think for me, just working on my positioning, trying to get earlier seals, and so that was the focus for me tonight, and I was able to do that.
In Game 3, Vegas disrupted Aliyah Boston by crowding her early, forcing turnovers and rushed shots. By Game 4, she flipped the script, anchoring her stance, reading doubles calmly, and dishing 5 assists to open shooters. That adjustment turned pressure into opportunity, the mark of a star who thrives when the playoffs demand growth.
Has been unleashed. Powers into the game for the first time. Here's Boston working young and finishing.
Let's give some love where it's due. The post work. Aliyah Boston sees a guard on her. The double comes, passes back out. So what does she do? She reposts, puts her right hand up so that
Aliyah Wilson tried to spin Game 4 by saying Aliyah Boston had a special whistle. The film says otherwise. Boston didn't get favors, she created bruises. She absorbed contact, dished it back, and kept producing through the physicality. If anything was special, it was her control of the game. What was framed as a test of whether Indiana could match Vegas's stars turned into Boston shifting the balance. The paint, once Wilson's comfort zone, belonged to her. With that interior foundation, the Fever drew energy across the roster, overwhelming an Aces team suddenly stripped of its usual dominance.
Game away from the finals, where you came from, in August when people were going down with injuries. I mean, how do you wrap your head around that, knowing that there's still work to be done?
Yeah, honestly, for me, all the credit has to go to God. Seriously, I mean, just thinking about where we are right now, just like you said, we lost people to injuries, and no one stepped down, no one dropped their heads. But I think Steph and the entire staff just did a great job of us telling us, like, listen, it doesn't matter who's in this locker room, it's about who's in here, and we're going to do everything we can to be successful, and we just kept working.
Indiana revealed its formula in Game 4, but now the Aces have film to counter. Every seal Boston carved out, every Mitchell read off the pick and roll, every rebounding surge is there for Vegas to study. That's why Indiana's priority in Game 5 must be striking first. Boston needs early touches to establish the paint and sap Wilson's energy. When she controls the interior, Vegas struggles to dictate pace. But the paint only matters if spacing holds, which puts pressure on Kelsey Mitchell to keep firing from deep. Her shooting stretches Vegas thin, forcing defenders to either collapse on Boston or chase the arc. On defense, Lexi Hull's assignment against Jackie Young-Loom's large containment without fouling is essential. And steady guard play from Odyssey Sims and Christy Wallace keeps the Fever's attack organized. In a decisive game, minimizing wasted trips could be the difference between survival and elimination.
I think for me, this from day one has just been a really special group. We've hit a lot of adversity collectively. I had some tough stuff that I was going through personally, and this group would just rallied around me, rally around each other. And truly do live the mantra of we over me. And it's just been a really, really special group. You don't always get these opportunities to coach groups like this, at the professional level especially. And I think because they're who they are as human beings, it allows us to continue to put one foot in front of the other.
The hidden X factor? Rebounding. Indiana owned the glass 34-22 in Game 4, but matching that again means everyone has to scrap. Natasha Howard, Bree Turner, Nalissa Smith, Aerial Powers. Limit Vegas's second chances, keep attacking the rim, and the Fever hold their own fate. Think about it, this team wasn't supposed to be here. No Caitlin Clark, no Sophie Cunningham, no Christy Wallace, no Sydney Colson, no Ari McDonald in the playoffs. Yet Indiana is one win away from the finals. Coach Stephanie White called them a special group because they've stayed together through every setback. While Vegas keeps pointing at whistles, Indiana just keeps stacking effort. That's the difference. And from the sideline, Clark already gave the rallying cry, 2 words, one more. Game 5 in Las Vegas decides everything. And the Fever already showed the path. So what's really special here? Not the whistle, Boston and the Fever. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next story.